There we go. All right. We are going to do some Google Drawing stuff today. We're going to do one fun one, sort of like an intro to Google Drawing kind of idea. And then we are going to take what we know and what we learned about digital citizenship and turn it into an infographic. Okay. And then next day, we'll have some notes on infographics. And what else are we going to do? Let me just see here. Let me look at my thing. We're going to do the digital citizenship infographic. Oh, yes. And then we'll do another infographic later in the term about something called SAMR, S-A-M-R, SAMR. And but we'll leave that for later in the term. So what we're going to do today then, or what I'd like you to do is I'd just like you to go to your Google Drive. And if you didn't notice this yet, under the little tic-tac-toe board or the waffle board up here or the app launcher, there's lots of names for it, you cannot find Google Drawings. Okay, so the only place you can find Google Drawing is to go under the new menu and you go to more and you go to Google Drawing. Okay, and once you do that, you will come up with what this little checkerboard thing that you're looking at right now is called, we'll call that our canvas. Okay, so when we're using Google Drawings, we can do things on canvas and we can also do things off canvas. Okay, if you are printing though, the only things that show up when you go file print or hit Command or Control P or whatever is the only things that show up are the things that are on the checkerboard or on the canvas. Okay, but what's nice about that is that if you do a digital version of something where kids are just going to open it up in their own Google Drive or whatever, or Google Classroom, is you can use the gray areas on the sides to put instructions and things like that, so that you don't have to waste valuable real estate up here on the canvas with instructions and all that kind of other jazz. Okay, so just remember that. So when I refer to canvas, it's a checkerboard part, and I don't know, we'll call it gray area, I don't know, off canvas or something like that. Okay, all right, so first three things we need to do. We need to give this a name. So I'd like you to call this I rock because. Okay, and I'm just going to add a section B on there. You don't have to do that. Now, this is a little assignment that I stole from Red Republic Library when I work with reading pals with young kids, or sometimes this is used in adult literacy as well, but mostly with kids. So as you're developing this, I want you to think about the grade, topic, subject, etc. that you want that is going to be your audience, and that will help guide you in what types of questions and just the layout and everything's going to look like. Okay, so obviously for littler kids, we're going to need maybe bigger fonts and more simple fonts, and obviously as they get bigger, we can get a little bit more fancy and do different things. Okay, what else can I tell you? We need to go up to the share menu, and we need to make this so, one other thing, yeah. We need to make sure that anyone with the link is a viewer, okay? And I'm just gonna say done. And then I'm gonna go to File, and I'm gonna go to Page Setup. And on Page Setup, under File menu, this is your standard. So remember when we were doing the slideshow stuff, I said that the tools and commands and stuff in Google Slides are almost identical to what you see in Google Drawing. This is an example. If you went to a Google Slide and you wanted to change the page setup on a Google Slide, you start off with this standard 4:3 ratio thing. What we're going to do actually is we're going to do a custom, okay? And the reason we're going to do custom versus any of those other ones that were on the menu is that then we can control, if we're going to print it, we can control the printing size. Because again, printers in schools will probably accept 3 sizes of paper, which is your regular size paper, your legal size, which is just a little bit longer, right, than your normal sheet of paper. Or what we're going to do with this one, the third size, we're going to make this 17 by 11. Okay, so that's equivalent to two regular size sheets of paper side by side. So, this kind of idea. It would be very, very big. We have a very big piece of paper or a very big canvas to use. Now, the reason we're doing 17 by 11, that puts us in landscape mode. and 11 by 17, then we'll put us in portrait. Okay, so we're under page setup. We've done custom 17 by 11 inches. There are other choices here if you were working in centimeters or pixels or whatever, but we're just going to use inches because that's just fine. So we're going to go apply. Okay, nothing miraculous happened other than if you've got your rulers showing, your ruler up here will show you that you've got a 17-inch, and then down here you've got 11-inch along the side. Okay, so first thing that we need to do then on our canvas, actually before I do that, let me just back up. Does anybody need me to do anything else or show anything again?
Could you show like how you change the size again? Because I was like on like my drawing thing while you were talking, setting it up, and
Sure. So to change the size of the canvas, we're going to go up to the File menu. Then we scooch on down to Page Setup. And then you're going to get this. It'll be set to standard 4x3. You're going to choose Custom in the drop-down menu. And then we're going to change our size to 17 by 11 inches. Okay. That work for you, Joseph?
yeah, thanks.
Okay, so we'll go apply again. Okay, so I'm just going to start this too so I can find it easy after. What we're shooting for on this is something that might look like that. Mine was a little bit Halloween themed. So we are going to, we'll use this as our sort of, I don't know, template, but you have a lot of poetic license here. So the color of your background, the contrasting colors, the complementary colors, the fonts, you can pretty much do whatever you want. Okay. I set mine up with these dark colors like this because in my head, I was saying this is going to be digital, right? If we're going to print this out, this would not be like this. Again, remember, printing out lots and lots of things in color at your school will get you in trouble. Okay. So we're shooting for something like that. So here's what we're going to do. Well, let's add a title first. So, actually, no, let's back up for a second. Let's change the background canvas color. So again, there's lots of different ways to do that. One of the ways is to right click on the canvas and go background. Okay. Now you can choose a solid or a gradient background. It doesn't matter to me. Okay. So just remember, let's stay with our complementary colors and our appropriate or proper contrast on dark and light, light on dark. Okay. So go ahead and choose a colored background. Oh, I don't know. I'm going to start off with that. No, I'm not. I'm going to start off with, I want something fairly light. Can I go with purple? All right, I'll go with that shade of purple. Doesn't matter. Okay, now we can add a text box. And I don't know, just sort of to eyeball it, just kind of center it, eyeball it for now. Okay, now remember, we're on a really big piece of paper. So we're just going to type in I rock because. And if you want to go dot, dot, dot after, you can. And so what we're going to do is we're going to center this, right? So we're going to go up to the centering tool or whatever you want to call it. We're going to go center horizontally, and we're going to go center vertically. Okay, nothing miraculous happened there. But let's make this bigger. So for example, on mine, that is a 48-point font. Okay, so what font you choose, and it can be fancy, it can be, if you got a fancy font that you like, and I'm always telling you don't use fancy fonts, knock yourself out on this one. I'm going to try that one. And I don't know, let's go 48. Oh, I can go way, no, I don't like that font. All right, so let's pick a font. Oh, yeah, that's a good font. I like that one. Okay. So remember also my rule about text boxes. Text boxes should encompass or enclose all of your text, but remember, your text box should not be any bigger than the text that is inside it. Okay. And then what we're going to do after you kind of get it all looking about the way you want it to go, then if you go onto any of the blue lines onto the edges and you click, that'll allow you to move it. And so what I'm looking for is that red line to center it. Okay. So any of the blue, border lines that are around it when we select the object, then we can move it around. And like I said, what I'm looking for is that center mark. Where'd it go? There it is. Okay. And you can move that, you could use your arrow key. You can move that pretty close to the top of that purple area, but you can't have anything hanging over the edge. So this, if you did this, you would only get part of that word printed out. So you got to make sure that the whole thing that's inside that blue border is on the purple or whatever color canvas you chose. Okay, so that should work for us for now. On my example, I have put this, zombie picture on there, but what you're going to do is you are just going to go up to the shape tool up here on the toolbar. And you can choose any shape you want, but so what we're going to want on this in the end is, so this is like an introductory activity. So this is something that you do maybe in conjunction with your get to know you surveys that we did at the beginning of the term. You could use this to figure out what kids like or what kids don't like, get to know kids a little bit better. And so this is also a great artifact, although I'm not taking this in for marks. This is a great artifact for you to add to your TQS number 1, right? TQS number 1 is all about building relationships with kids and all that jazz. This is a great one for the number 1, okay? So you can see the ones that I've got chosen are my favorite whatevers, but what we want is we want lots of room for them to be able to add their information in there. So some shapes I think just don't lend themselves very well, like a shape like, I don't know, this, right? That doesn't really lend itself very well to kids putting their information in there. So I started off on this particular drawing. This is the one I did with the other class. I started off with this shape right here, and it doesn't work very well. So I changed them all to just rectangles or squares or whatever you want to call it. Okay, before we start, okay, let's do this one thing first. Let's just choose the rectangle tool, and approximately in the middle, you can draw a square and just eyeball it, because what's going to happen with this square anyways is it's going to end up getting deleted. Okay, and then because what's going to happen is kids will put their own picture in the middle. Okay, so in that shape, and it doesn't matter what color it is or anything like that, because like I said, you're just eventually go delete and add your own. The kids are going to add their own pictures. So just do this. Just type in picture goes here, that kind of a thing. I'll just center it just that way. I'm just going to make that font a little bit bigger, even though we are going to end up deleting it. Again, like I said, we got a very big piece of paper, so why not use a bigger font? Okay, we're going to add one more text box or one more shape. Either way is good. On this one, I'm going to add a rounded rectangle. And I'm just going to kind of eyeball it about here. And in that rounded rectangle, we're going to say your name and date. Okay, so what their name is and the date that they created this. And I can make that probably a 30-point font as well. Okay, now this one, so the picture, you can just leave it as is. The name and date one needs to end up now, that needs to be a complementary color. So, but you can leave it for now, and until we decide what our main color is going to be for the areas that kids have to do their work in. Okay, so we've reserved some of this real estate here in the middle. But before we do that, I'm just going to you don't have to do this. I'm going to make one big text box. And I'm just going to type in movie, the word movie. And I'm going to, this is just before our reference. So what are things that we could do? So take a look at this list. We've got my favorite book, my favorite movie, my favorite food, my favorite color, candy, animal, and season. Okay. What are other things that we could add that kids could tell us about? Let's do that. What are some other things that kids could add? Go ahead and either say them out loud or put them in the chat. What's their favorite what? We can add animal. I can't remember if I had it on there now. Animal. I'm going to say book. I'm also going to say here favorite class. Subject. There you go. Thank you. Subject. Favorite song. I like that one. Option 8. Song. What other things could we add? Again, excellent. Think of the age group that you want to teach, and even if it's a grade 1 thing, it still might be applicable for older kids. What else we got? Favorite toy. Okay, I like that one. What else? Sport. That one. What else? Okay, if we go back to this one, we can say book, movie, food. So book, movie, food. We could say snack. Oopsie. We could say treat, if again, depending on the age of your kids. Color, yeah, like color. Oop, just yeah. Okay, and movie, food, season, animal, candy. Okay, we'll go season. We've got animal already. We can go option 8. We can go candy. How perfect for Halloween. Horoscope. Okay. Oh, all right. So we got a pretty good list. So what I'm going to do with this list, I'm just going to slide it over here onto the non-canvas part. Okay. And we'll just leave that up there. So here's what I'd like you to do. I don't want you to go and make. So what you're going to end up having here is you're going to end up having 7 categories or whatever you want to call it. Okay. So what I don't want you to do, I don't want you to go ahead and just make 7 shapes right off the bat right now. Okay. So what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to choose one shape that you can live with for all 7 things. So for me, again, I'm not going to go fancy. I'm just going to go rounded rectangle. Because again, what I want is I want them to be able to add lots of information if possible. Okay, so I'm going to go. I'll just start off with that size of a rounded rectangle shape, and then what we're going to do is we're going to set up the color, the font, any kind of a border you want around it on this one. This will kind of almost be like our template one, and then we're going to duplicate that. Okay, so I went with this light purple color, which I may end up changing yet, but that's okay. And so with this rectangle or whatever shape you chose selected, right, with the handles all the way around, go to the paint bucket and find yourself a complementary color. They're getting to be like very Eastery colors on mine. So do that. I've decided I don't want to go with purple. I could go with blue though. All right. So I've got my shape. Now I'm going to, again, with the object selected, you can come up to the line tool and choose a color for your line if you want. I'm just going to go with black. You can also choose the thickness of that border. Okay, I'm not going to go that thick. 3 is probably good. And then inside it, what I'd like you to do is you can just double click and you'll get the little flashing cursor thingamajigger. And then you can just type in my favorite subject. Okay. And I'm going to make that bigger. Well, not Arial. There we go. And I'm going to make this a 30.4, maybe not quite 30. Could go a little bit less. And the size will depend on what font you chose, right? The last thing that I'm going to do here, I don't want that in the middle. That kind of screws up, I don't know, the box for writing in. So I'm just going to go up to the alignment tool or the centering tool, and I'm going to go pop that up higher. So I just used that tool to make it at the top. Okay. And then that gives them all the rest of the room below that to do what they need to do. So now we've got our shape, we've got our color, we've got our border, and we got our font and the size, of whatever that is. So to me, this one's ready to go. So what I'm going to do then on my keyboard, I'm just going to go Command or Control D. I'm on a Mac, so I'm going to go Command D. And I'm going to just do something that looks like that. So I can do this now for all of them. So if I want to throw one up there. And on my example, I've got 7 things. If you've got room for more or you want more things, go ahead and do that. Okay. I'm just going to put that one over there. I probably might have room for quite a few more here. I don't know, that just worked out pretty good. Okay, and so like, don't worry about getting them all lined up now. I'm going to show you a few tricks here in a minute. Okay, so 1, 2, like that, and one more. All right, something like that. All right, how's everybody doing? Anybody need me to do any part of that over again? No, everybody's good. Okay. All right. So I'm just gonna. So I got my favorite subject. I'm just gonna start changing these. My favorite movie. My favorite subject class. Game. I'm gonna say my favorite book. And of course, these would also can be subject specific, right? So if this is if you're thinking, oh, I'm going to do this for my LA class, then you might ask, what's your favorite poem? What's your, you might want to make it a little bit more specific for your class, or you could keep it nice and general, like kind of like what we're doing right now. My favorite song, I like that one. Those are always tough ones though. My favorite snack. Oh, that's a good one. I like that. My favorite. Got food on there? I'll put food as well. Favorite sport. I like that one. Just some ones that the other class didn't come up with. My favorite season. I think I'll go with. Okay. Now you could put in. Oh, we could add in. Favorite vacation spot. Again, depending on the age of your kids. Your favorite. Your favorite cartoon character. Of course, your favorite superhero. Again, like I said, depending on the age of your kids, you might want to use some different ones. So there's a couple extra ones I added on there. All right, okay, so take a look up here on my screen for a second. I'm going to show you what we're going to do here. We're going to do a whole bunch of getting things lined up. Now, yes, we can eyeball that because you all should know now that we've got those red lines that help us line things up. But sometimes we want to line up multiple objects at the same time. Okay, so what we're going to do is we are going to do something called shift clicking. Okay, so yes, so there's two things here because someone's going to come up with this and say, oh, why don't we just do it this way, Brad? So on your canvas, you can click and hold and drag and select all of those things. But sometimes when you do that, you can see that I selected the iRock text box up here. So when things start getting more congested, it's harder to do that. It's harder to just grab, the things that you want. So that's why shift clicking is useful. So what we're going to do is we're going to select our first object, and we'll go down the left-hand side here first. Okay, I'm going to hold down the shift key the whole time. And I'm going to click on this one, and this one. So I've got all four of those down the side selected. Now you don't have to have your hand on the shift key anymore. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go to the arrange menu, and we're going to choose alignment. And you can choose on this one, honestly, any four of these or three of these would work. So I'm going to go align left. So I had a little bit of movement there. Okay, and then I'm going to go back with all four of these shapes still selected. I'm going to go back up to arrange, and I'm going to go to distribute. Okay, and I'm going to go distribute vertically. And what that will do is put an equal space between each of the objects. Okay, based on the top and the bottom of the page and how you've got that going on. Okay, now we're going to do the same thing over here on the right-hand side. So I'm going to choose that first box, and I'm going to hold down the shift key again and go click, click, click. And then I'm going to go back up and repeat that process. I'm going to go arrange, and I'm going to go align. This time I'm going to go align right. Okay. And then I'm going to go back up there again and go distribute vertically. So now I've got roughly the same amount of space as the other shapes. I'm just going to move mine over a tiny bit. I'm just looking at how much purple is on the left-hand edge versus how much is on the right-hand edge. I think that looks about right. Okay. All right. How are we doing? Anybody need me to do any part of that again?
I just have a quick question. I don't know if maybe I did something wrong, but my distribute is grayed out.
Do you have multiple objects selected?
Yes.
And it's grayed out.
Yes.
Well, that's kind of weird. Why don't you share your screen and show me?
Sure.
Okay, so okay, go ahead. Yeah.
I select the 4.
Okay. Okay. Get off of that menu for 1 sec and click my favorite song again. And now hold down the shift key and then go click, click, click on the other 3 instead of doing the bottom one. I think you do the same thing. Now let's go up there again. There you go.
There it is. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, you're welcome. Okay, so some more arranging. So what we're going to do now is, let me just share my screen again here. Rid of that. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to do the top, here we're going to do these all like this. So we're going to go the top 3. My favorite subject, for me it's my song and my snack. Okay, and then we're going to go to the arrange menu and we're going to align those on the top, middle, or bottom. It doesn't matter. I'm going to go tops. So that moved them a little bit. And then, of course, we're going to arrange them so that they can be distributed horizontally this time. Okay, and that makes them all nice and even across left to right. So we're kind of doing a left to right, top to bottom kind of idea. This one, and then I'm going to hold down the, so here's a great example of why you would want to use shift and click, because I don't want the picture one at all, but I do want this one. So I got to kind of skip over. So I've got my favorite movie selected, hold down the shift key and go my favorite food. Now, even though that line goes across the picture box, don't worry about that. And I'm just going to align these ones down in their middles. So not much happened there. And I'm just going to keep doing the other ones like that all the way down. Align middle, just to double check, make sure that they're good to go. And align middle. And of course, if you make a boo-boo and you choose the wrong alignment tool, don't panic. Just go to Command or Control Z and you'll be good to go. Now I need to change the color of that. And I need to move that to the top. And where is that green that I've been using? Is it that one? No, a little dark. There we go. Okay. I can also make this a little bit bigger now if I want. And did I put that on the top? Yeah, I did. Okay. So maybe I'll make that like so, something like that. Okay. Okay. I'm going to also make this little picture box just a little bit bigger, just so that it fills in the space a little bit better. Something like that. I'm just kind of using my arrow key to eyeball it there. Okay. We got one more set of alignments to do, or arrangements. We're going to click on the iRock because text box, my favorite song. We can do the picture as well, and we can do the name and date. Okay. And then we're going to arrange and align down the center. And I had a little bit of movement there. Okay, so again, we're going to grab all those thingamabobbies down the middle, go to arrange and align and choose down the center. Okay, anybody need me to show you or do anything again? Everybody's good? Right on. Okay. Now, this is basically done. Okay, I'm just going to put a little thicker border around. Black is good. We'll do that. Okay, so this is done. So any questions? It didn't take us very long. Everybody's good? Okay, so remember, TKS number 1, and this is a great way to, communicate with your students and learn more about them, all that kind of jazz. So if there's no other questions on this particular thing, again, this is not for Mark, so you don't have to hand it in, but it would be a great thing to add to your ePortfolio at some point. Okay. All right. So we've got this iRock. That's my old one. So now what we're going to do is we're going to create a digital citizenship infographic. Okay. Infographics come in all shapes and sizes. And I'm just going to, just in my, as a search, digital citizenship. Oh, I had infographics on there. Infographics. There we go. And I'm just going to do an image search. And as you can see, and you can do your own, you can see that they're all shapes and sizes. They're all different colors. They're, there's all different things. The thing we need to think about with infographics is it's just sort of a fancy new name for poster, right? There's all kinds of posters that you've seen in your own K-12 classrooms, and there's posters that you're going to make or have up on the walls in your own classroom once you're a teacher and have your own kids. So you can see that there is no particular right or wrong here. If you look at this one, it's kind of the same idea that I did on mine. Okay. Oops. So you can choose or do this search and choose and go, okay, is there one here that I can live with? And so you're not obviously just going to copy and paste, because though the elements that they've added to their infographic may not match up with the elements that we've talked about in class. Okay. Anyways, so infographic. So you can see this one is like, a landscape sheet of paper. This one is Spider-Man in the middle. This one's long and skinny, right? And you've got, like I said, you've got all shapes and sizes here of an infographic. Okay, so this is just for you to scroll through and get an idea of how would I like mine to look? Do I want to make make it like a game, or well, how do you want to do that? Okay, so here's what you're going to do. We're going to do all of the same things that we just basically finished doing on the iRock assignment, which is add a title. I added this cute little graphic, mostly like a dividing line, really is what it ended up being. And then I just started off with what is digital access, and all of these. So in our notes, when we took our notes, and I'm just going to go back here for 1 second to my own personal lesson kind of plan notes. When we did this as a class, we talked about these 9 elements, and I'll just make that a little bit bigger. Okay, of digital citizenship. All I did on my infographic is all I had room for was to go with kind of the main title. So I didn't add the the subpoints, the A, B's, and C's and that stuff, because they didn't have enough room. So on our infographic, that's all that you need to do as well. Okay, so let's start setting this up. Let's go again back to our drive. Let's go new, more, and then Google Drawings. Okay, it'll give us a canvas again. And we're going to do the same things we did to set up the iRock, because we're going to do the exact same things here. We're going to give it a name. So we're going to call this Digital Citizenship Infographic. And again, I'm just going to add section B. You do not need to do that. Okay, there we go. I'm going to share it so that anybody with the link can see it or view it. Perfect. And then we're going to set up the page setup exactly the same way we did on the iRock. We're going to go File, Page Setup, and instead of standard, we're going to go Custom. And then we'll do 17 by 11 again. Or if you want yours to be longer in a portrait, you can go 11 by 17. It's whichever way you think you want to lay it out. So 11 by 17 looks like that. And then obviously 17 by 11, you already know what that looks like, but I'll throw it on there. It looks like that. So I'm going to go with kind of the long, skinny kind of idea. So I'm going to go with page setup and go 11 by 17 and apply that. Okay. So that gives us lots of room to play. If you look, I'm just going to close the iRock up. So there we go. If we look at this example, this is what I did with the other class the other day, is what you'll notice, let me just make this like 100% size. Okay. What you'll notice is at the bottom of my page, I did cite the original source for where I got my idea from. So if it was this one, I would want to click that and I would just grab that link, go copy, and then on my infographic, my blank one, I can grab a text box And for now, I can make it that big. I'm just going to type, oopsie, original source. And I'm just going to paste that link in there like so. And then you can just, it can just be literally just tucked down at the bottom in the corner, however you want. I'm just going to resize that text box so it's not so big. There we go. So I'm going to, I will tuck mine over here in the corner. So, and you can, if you want, you could have a border around it or not. It's up to you. Okay. So you'll need, I'd like you to add that on there. Of course, again, what we're going to do is we're going to choose contrasting colors. Now, here's what we're going to do, though. I'm going to learn you something new. I'm going to throw a whole bunch of links in the chat because now what we're going to do is I'm going to teach you about hexadecimal colors. Okay, so if we went back to well, this one's different, but if we went back to the IROC one, you would have noticed that maybe potentially that pink color, my background or whatever, is not a color that's on the palette. So there's loads, I don't even know how many, maybe millions, if not even more than that, combinations of colors that you can make. Okay, so I'm just gonna go here for, actually I'm gonna give you my favorite one first. My favorite one that I love, this one's by Google, and I'm pretty sure it's by Google. And what we're gonna do is I'll give you this link. It's called Picular. Okay. And all you need to do in the search bar is type any word, right? Here, I'll type in Hawaii. You hit enter, and it gives you colors that they think would relate to Hawaii. Okay, or you could, in your search bar, you could type in, if you want pink, and it'll give you all those different shades of pink. You could type in summer, like whatever word you want, right? Dogs, and it'll give you what it thinks, colors for, a green dog. Interesting. I've never seen a green dog, but I bet you see them mostly on St. Patrick's Day. Okay, so you can pick a color here. This will be our start. I'm gonna go green. You can type in trees. You can type in, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go forest and see what it comes up with. Oh, lots of interesting colors. So, no, I don't like that. I'm gonna go back with green for a sec here. All right, so again, be mindful of contrast. So potentially these really kind of like lime green ones that are pretty hard on the eyes might not be the best choice. Summer. What do we got here in summer? Oh, those aren't bad. All right, I think I'm going to go with this color. So once you choose a color, all you got to do is just click on the color, and it will copy that hexadecimal number, which starts with a hashtag and a bunch of letters and numbers and stuff like that. Okay, so I'm going to go with this blue. I'll commit to it for now, at least, anyways. And what I'm going to do, where did my thingamabob get? No, it's right here. Is it? Yes. There we go. Okay, so then I'm just going to go right click for the background and see where it says custom. Click custom, or you can click the plus sign, either one. And then see how there's a hexadecimal number in there. You can just paste on top of that. And there's that blue that I chose. Okay, and I can say okay. So then it gives me that color background. Okay, now with that hexadecimal code in your clipboard, we're going to go to another one. So here's where I go next. Usually this is the routine that I always basically do. Okay, I'm just going to go here to Adobe Color. Oh, this is going to screw you up a little bit, but because you're not going to be able to keep that hexadecimal number saved. So I'm going to go here, and I'm going to cheat this a little bit. I'm going to go back. Can I go back? Well, let me go back. Yay, there's my blue, right? I can't remember which one I chose now. I guess I'll copy that one. Okay, so then what we're going to do on, I've got to open up a new window here, on the Adobe Color wheel, is what I do is I just replace the first color with that, let's say that blue that I liked, and hit enter or return. And then it'll give you complementary colors that go with that. And there's all kinds of different things that you can go over here on the side. So if you wanted to click complementary, so I'm just going to go back and paste that code back in there. Those are, believe it or not, those are complementary colors. If you look at the color wheel, and all you grade 1 teachers, here you go. If you look at the color wheel, those are colors that are directly opposite, right? This blue. You could go split complementary if you want. Every time you choose a different one, you got to put the code back in, right? Nah, I don't like that one. What about double split? Well, there might be some nice colors there. Let's see. So there are other complementary colors that go with that original shade of blue that I chose right here. Okay. And I'm just going to double check that. I'm just going to make sure my background's the right color. I might have to just paste that. Oh, that is a bit of a different color. Command B. There you go. I think I like that better. There we go. Okay. So under the Adobe color wheel, these are other colors that we could potentially use. Okay. So we could use this, I don't know, salmon color, this other blue, whatever color that greeny thing is, and then yellow. If you don't like those colors, that's okay, because we can go to a different place. There is this website called Color Hex, and I usually just go to palettes, and you can choose your own palette, and they've got loads and loads and loads and loads of them. You can scroll through there. Oh, let me just throw that in there. Copy, and this is called, what is this one called? Yeah, Color Hex. So Color Hex, and you can go there, and they've got lots of look, they got loads and loads of colors. And if you don't like those ones, you can go to the next page and find other ones. So this is kind of a rabbit hole kind of thing. This would be my equivalent of adding transitions and animations to Google Slides. This can literally take you forever. Okay, so you got to sort of commit. I don't know. For me, you got to kind of commit early. I kind of like this pumpkin one. I might go with that. Yeah, I do like that. So I am going to choose a lighter shade. I'm going to copy that hexadecimal color. I'm going to go back to my digital citizenship box. I am going to then create a text box and type in digital citizen ship. Now it's really tiny, but I'm just gonna, I will make it bigger here. Again, choose a font that you like and you can live with, and then grab and make it, you know, as big as you. What size can I grow here? I'm gonna go 96. Maybe that might be too big. Oh no. Okay. So then once you got a size and all that jazz, once you add colors to that palette, the custom colors. So here I'm going to change the color of my font. There's all of these colors. Now I can add that one that I just copied in there, that kind of salmon color. And then so once it's in the custom palette, it stays there on this document forever. Now, the drawback is that if I go to another Google Drawing or I go to another Google Slideshow or whatever, these colors don't get saved permanently. Okay, they're always available for this particular document, but they're not available outside of this document. So there we go with that title. I'm going to just make my text box a tiny bit smaller, and I'm just going to eyeball with the red line to center it. Oopsie. There we go. And of course, I'm going to use my arrow key to move it up a little bit. It doesn't matter if the text box itself hangs over the edge. You just can't have the words or the picture or whatever hanging over the edge. So I'm going to leave it about there for now. And so there's my like my title. Okay, I am going to give you a couple more links to different places. This one's called, what is this one called? This is called Color Picker. Okay, so HTML Color Picker. Okay, and I'll grab that one for you so that you can have it. And then I also have this one here. Oh, this is the Google one. My apology. This is the Google one. And again, you can go here. You can just click on palettes, and you can scroll through these ones. Again, they've got all kinds of different color palettes. So I'll give you this one. Copy. This one's called, I'm going to call this one the Google color one. So there's that one as well. And that's all of the ones that I have. So I've already committed to the colors. Oopsie. Goodness. Did I lose that again? Yeah, I did. Damn it. Okay. So I've committed to these colors, so I'm going to stay with these colors. Now, the other thing that you need to do on this document is, and I'll just make it a little bit smaller so it's easier to see. Fit. There you go. Is you need to have potentially some type of images. So infographics have basically, a couple things. They have pictures that relate to the information that you're giving. So there's a combination between graphics and text. I didn't use a ton of graphics on this one. I could have easily added a little icon or a little picture for each one of these. So for instance, on digital access, if I use one of my favorite sites called Emoji Copy, and on Emoji Copy, I could type in the word key for access, right? So I'm going to just click on that key and see it puts it up here. I'll put Emoji Copy in the thingamabob here in a sec too. Oops. On this one, I could have pasted, like a key in there. Okay. So Emoji Copy, I'll put that right here for you. I think there's lots of different ones that you can use, but I like this one. This Emoji Copy one's my favorite. And I'll throw that in the chat for you as well. Okay. So if you want to do that, you can. You don't have to. And so you could add that. Of course, that just changes a little bit of my font size. So I might need to just make that font a little smaller so it fits in. There you go. Okay. Again, that's still a pretty big font. It's still 22 point. So if you want to add a little icon, you can, or a little picture. Icons are probably better. And then don't forget the other way to add a little icon in here as well is, and I'll just go to digital communications, is you can go insert special characters, and I don't know, pick, type in the search bar something for communication, or maybe I'll just put communication and see what comes up. Nothing. All right, how about our radio? There we go. I don't know. And then you can see that it adds, oopsie, it adds, close it up for a second. There we go. That adds that little icon of a radio in there. So you can do that if you want. And so here, the elements that you need are the title. You need, the 9 elements with their main kind of text. And if you want other images, you can add those on there as well. You need the original source at the bottom. And if we go to Google Classroom, do I have that open still? There we go. And we go down to, where is that? Digital citizenship infographic. And there is a rubric for it, my friends. Okay. So I want you to take a look at the rubric and then design your masterpiece from there. Okay. Now, before I let you go, I can't believe time's up already. Before I let you go, questions, comments, things that are on your mind about this? No? Okay. So this is due then next Tuesday, if I'm not mistaken, in Google Classroom, November 9th. Yep, it's due next Tuesday. And so then if there aren't any questions, comments, or concerns that you have, you feel free to leave. If you want to chit chat at the end or after everybody goes, stick around. Other than that, have yourself a wonderful day. Okay, thanks everybody. I'm just going to stop recording here.